We're here at a private residence at the historic Wawona Ranch in Clovis, California. And this was a job where we were given the responsibility to improve a lawn dramatically that they were struggling with. And we're going to describe to you the simplest way to do that and how we went about it and show you the result. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Chip and I plan to be doing a lot more videos for you. If you like them, please click on like and click on subscribe and click on the bell so that you'll be notified every Sunday when we post our new videos. So our first point is that using weed and feed represents bad timing, and it's bad for the soil. Bad timing in the sense that weeding and feeding should really be done at different times. Weeding refers to, in the case of weed and feed, a pre-emergent is in the product. That means a chemical that kills weed seeds. And weed seeds are best killed when they're completely dormant. And if you get them once they've already started to germinate, then the chemical isn't going to be effective. And fertilizer is best used in the spring and when things are growing, because you want the plant to take up the nutrients and then translocate it through the plant for its benefit. So if you use the weed and feed in the middle of the winter when you should be using a pre-emergent, then the product, the fertilizer part doesn't work. It could leach through the soil and you would get no benefit at all. If you use it in the spring, the weeds have already started to germinate and the pre-emergent part does no good at all. So you end up with a product that is costing you more than it should. You're applying it one or the other at the wrong time, and you're not going to get the results that you should and the results that you would if you got a good pre-emergent, put it on at the right time, and a good fertilizer and put it on at the right time. Both of the products that are used in a weed and feed product will damage soil. So all the products we would choose to put on the lawn would encourage life in the soil at the same time feeding the plant. So the owners hired us in February to help them make this lawn much better. They were planning a rather big event here in early May, and they wanted the lawn to look good. They described to me a situation where this lawn's actually a very large lawn on a beautiful garden, but the lawn they've already struggled with. It's about 35,000 square feet, and the owners have described almost every problem you could imagine: brown spots, too many weeds, having areas that look very uneven, yellow in one part and green under the trees. A very imperfect, challenging lawn for 40 years, and they hired us to try to help them solve those issues. So we started in February, and the first thing that we did, since we had a fairly short amount of time and we were a little bit past the time where we could do any weed control or anything like that, so we went right into reseeding the lawn. And the reseed, I think, is something for all of you to consider. Once a year or every other year or every third year, it's really a renewal method that works great. And if you do it the right time of the year, which is really, really early spring before it gets too warm, you can do it without a lot of work. You could just spread the seed and then water properly several times a day until the seed germinates without any top dressing or anything. So in this case, they had mostly a Bermuda lawn here, since Bermuda does very well in our area. It won't grow under these large trees, but we could grow something else under the trees and try to blend it together in a way where it all looks like it goes together. So what we chose to do is we used a power rake on it. A power rake you can rent at Home Depot, and it kind of tears up everything if you have thatch and stuff and gets you close to the soil. You go over with a power rake and a mower, and you then have a nice seed bed for your new seed that you're going to put on. So we seeded at about 12 to 15 pounds per thousand, perennial rye in this case. We wanted something that could be mowed low right along with the Bermuda. And then we went right over the top of that seed with our nourish-biosol at a heavy rate, at about 15 pounds per thousand. So reseed and rejuvenate the soil. In addition to the nourish-biosol, about 3 weeks later, when it had already germinated, then we used at about 25 pounds per thousand our blend, which is more directed towards feeding the soil. So we've got a heavy application of nourish-biosol and a heavy application of blend, and the whole idea is we're ultra nourishing the new seed we just put on and the existing lawn that was already here. When I first looked at this job in February, I identified that one of the main reasons they struggled with their lawn for the last 40 years is because the irrigation system was very borderline. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. And so before we did the reseeding that I talked about in the second point, we actually spent a lot of effort trying to adjust and balance the irrigation system. And that amounts to trying to put equal amounts of water everywhere. You can see behind me these full sprinklers are working. And on the same valve, they have part circle sprinklers. And when we looked at the nozzle size, they were the same on the fulls and the part circles. And since the part circle travels half the distance, then that's not a good idea, because you'll be putting more water where the part circles are delivering because it's only going half the distance, and you'll be putting less water where the full circles are going. So you need about double the size of the nozzle between the full size and the part circle. So we're making adjustments like that, perhaps using bigger nozzles in spots, using the right nozzles on the fulls and the right nozzles on the part circles, and trying to get this thing balanced where we can get equal amounts of water everywhere. And that's really critical to a green lawn in the summer, which was one of their main struggles. There's very few weeds that can tolerate low mowing. And in this case, we're blessed with the owners liking a very close mowed look, liking the look of Bermuda. And so when we started mowing really, really low. And we did that for about a month. And we mowed every 3 or 4 days, because constant mowing is going to kill off most weeds, and it's going to encourage that Bermuda to spread out. That Bermuda has a really deep color, which we're after. We want it to spread into all these weak spots in the lawn, and the only spots that it won't thrive in is where we have the dense shade of these beautiful trees. Say you have a weed problem, you want a healthy lawn, you want it to be as self-sufficient as possible, you maximize the health of the soil, you overseed now and then, maybe once a year, maybe every other year, and you mow regularly and consistently, and you water properly. You do those things, and then you can step back and evaluate it after it's gone through a summer. And in the fall, if there's problem weeds, we could address those with a pre-emergent in the winter, or if you need to, I try to stay away from any weed killers, but there are broadleaf weed killers that you could use in a lawn like this that wouldn't damage the turf, but I would prefer to do that when the temperatures aren't high, so like early fall, and just spot spray if certain weeds are a concern. Right now we have what from a distance looks like a weed-free lawn. We could go around and I could show you quite a few different weeds, but we've got so much good Bermuda and good perennial rye that we seeded that it looks healthy and it looks like a strong lawn. And so we will keep it like this right through the summer, and then look at what we have to do for weed control later.
Hey there, friends. Thanks for watching our video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the bell. If you enjoyed this video, have any questions, or just want to say hi, let us know in the comments below. Want to learn more about our products? Then head over to our website, www.johnandbobs.com.